My name's Dan. This is We the People Prepping. Let's give this a try again. YouTube removed the last video I made like this, where I was discussing the similarities between the United States and the Empire of Rome. Okay, you know, the similarities in the two are astounding. Rome was originally founded by people that did not want to live under a tyrannical rule. They were a agricultural and military society. They did not originally have a emperor, Caesar, whatever you want to call them. Originally, they were a republic like the United States. They had basically a president that they would elect every year instead of 4 years, and they had a Congress and Senate like we do. Okay, now the similarities there. Our nation was basically modeled after the Roman Empire. So, I mean, we have a president, we have a Congress, a Senate, and they were elected by the people just like ours are. Okay? Their monetary system was based off of precious metals, which ours used to be. The United States their currency here used to be backed by precious metals, gold and silver and so forth. It wasn't until, well, we started to get away from it in the 40s, 50s, something like that. But President Nixon actually took us fully off of the gold standard and backed our dollar with the GDP. Okay, now here I'll give a little backstory. In Rome, they didn't have inflation for a long time. Okay, because their coinage, their money, was actually made out of silver and gold, and therefore it was the value stayed the same all the time. Then, as they started trying to expand the empire, they had to pay for their wars. Well, that in turn caused them to start mixing other metals with the precious metals, such as copper and tin and so forth. So their money wasn't actually worth as much. So then they started to get into inflation. Now, toward the end of the Roman Empire, their precious metals were barely anything in the coins. I mean, it was mainly tin and copper and so forth, with just a basic plating of gold and silver. So they experienced hyperinflation. So everything cost them way more than what it used to. But that's to be expected. When you devalue something like the dollar or their coinage, it just means that there's going to have to be more of it to get the same things that you were buying before. You're going to have to spend more money to buy the same exact thing. Okay, well, this country was the same way. Our coins actually used to be made of precious metals, had silver and gold in them. And then as we fought more and more wars, there was less and less precious metals. They started mixing it with nickel and tin and so forth, which devalued our money, which in turn caused inflation. Okay, you see where the similarities are between the two? Okay, who was it? Eisenhower, back at the end of his presidency, when he was getting ready to turn over his office, he gave a speech, and in that speech, he coined the phrase that we were a military-industrial complex. Okay, which is basically what Rome was. Okay, more similarities. We've become just like Rome. In Rome, the politicians became very corrupt, and eventually they wound up with emperors. These it all started because of how corrupt the politicians were, that their own armies started turning against them, and then a lot of their emperors were actually former military generals. Okay, now you look at how corrupt our politicians are in this country. I mean, it got to the point in Rome where Rome actually divided into two countries. They were both considered Rome. One was east and one was west. Well, the west, which was actually the capital of the west, was Rome herself, and the capital of the east was Constantinople, which was a city that was created under Emperor Constantine. Okay, now the west was conquered and burned by outside forces because of the way that handled that part of the nation's finances and all the corruption that was going on in the west. Well, the east managed to stay alive, and actually the east kind of still exists today. Okay, Constantinople and the east survived, but they were much reduced in power, and they actually merged in with other nations and basically became something other than Rome. Now, here in America, right now, with all the division and the strife and everything that's going on, people are talking about they want to separate this country. They want to divorce the nation and so forth. So you can see the similarities there. We're wanting to divide our nation. Okay? And it's politics that's dividing this nation. The racial tensions, the political strife, all of that is what is tearing this nation apart. And there's no need for it, because honestly, most people are not racist. You know, there are very few actually racist people left as far as real racism. What people are calling racism now is merely differences of opinion. I mean, I've been called racist just for my political views. Really? I have nothing against any other race. But just because I am a conservative, I'm branded as a racist. See, that's not real racism. Now, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. Okay, the 70s were a tumultuous time still, you know, because the 60s is when black people got more freedoms in this country, and you know, the civil rights and all that. Well, in the 70s, it was still pretty divided. You know, there was a lot of racial tensions. Now, if people from this era right now were to go back and to look and live in that era, they would know what racism is. Okay, to call somebody racist just because they have a difference of opinion does not make them racist. Now, I'm getting off of my point onto a little rant there, but basically in Rome, in Western Rome, when things were really bad, the nation was going bankrupt, and they were raising the taxes and everything. The government decided, okay, well, we'll start giving people free stuff. Okay, so what they would do is they gave them free measures of wheat so that they could make bread. Okay, so they gave them food, basically, and they put on the gladiator games in the Colosseum. This was to distract the people from what was going on in the country. Okay, now what's our government doing right now here in the United States? They're offering people free stuff. Oh, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. And then they're distracting us with the racial tensions, with all this other stuff. You know, they're doing everything and anything that they can to distract us from the fact of how much trouble we're in this nation. Our economy is on the verge of collapse. And they're trying to distract us from that by keeping us divided. You know, they don't want us to realize how bad they've made things. We're not the ones that have made things this bad. The American people put our trust in them. That was our mistake. We keep trusting the same politicians over and over again. We keep re-electing the same idiots to office. We need to put a stop to this. Stop electing the same people that have done nothing but rob you blind and take away your freedoms. That's what they were doing in Rome. And you've seen the result. Rome fell. Okay, and because it fell, it was conquered by other nations. It was absorbed into other nations. Do we really want that here in America? Do we want America to fall? We're in danger right now of our economy totally collapsing. And then when our economy collapses, which nation is going to come and step in and basically take over this country? Okay? There's the World Economic Forum. They're talking about they want to bring the entire world's economy together under one currency, and they're saying, well, you will own nothing, but you will be happy. And they're talking about a universal income. Everybody gets paid the same, no matter what you do. That's not the kind of world I want to live in, and it's not the kind of world I want to raise my grandchildren in. This country is the greatest country on earth. But we have treated it like it is a third world nation, like it's not worth saving. I'm sorry, but this nation is the greatest nation on earth. But people need to wake up and stand up and say enough before it's too late. Right now, we have a food shortage going on worldwide. It's starting to show here in America. Now, those of us that prepare, we prepare for situations like this. Yes, we set back food. We set back water. We have ways of purifying water. We have ways of growing our own food, canning our food. We know that at any time there could be a SHTF situation. And that's what we prepare for. Now, SHTF doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be a big thing. Everybody goes through their own personal SHTF situations every now and then. The loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, just an illness, whatever. But if you've been preparing and setting back food and water and supplies, not just toilet paper, people, come on. You can't survive on toilet paper. But just sit back a little bit every week, every chance you get. You go to the store to buy 4 cans of green beans, get 6. Hey, set the extra 2 back, use the 4 like you were regularly going to use them. Then when you use those 4 up and you go to the store for 4 more, get an extra couple again. and set those back, and just keep doing that. And you'll have, before you know it, you'll have a prepper pantry. You will have 3 months, and then 6 months, and 9 months, 12 months supply of food in case something happens. Right now, if you go to the store, you'll notice that the price of the food is rising. It's because they're pumping all this money into the economy, and nothing is there to back it up. So it's going to cost more and more money just to buy the things that you were buying before. You understand what I'm telling you, people? Get it while you can. Stack it to the rafters. Hide it under your furniture. Put it in your kids' closet, under your kids' bed, under your bed. Stack your food. I don't care if it's just beans and rice. As long as you have something that you can survive on. Now, granted, you will get sick and tired of beans and rice. Believe me, I grew up poor. I ate rice for 2 months straight when I was a kid. That was our breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I got so sick of rice, I to this day, I still don't want to eat rice. But I will. Because I've prepared. Like I said before, I will not show my pantry because people do not need to know what I have. I will review products for survival. I will talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I will not show my prepper pantry. And I sure won't show where I live. I mean, I might show you my yard, but I'm not showing you my address or what town I live in or nothing like that. Because that's just stupid to do. Okay? I'm a private person, but I found that it's time to speak out before this country goes the way of Rome. Well, that's about all I've got tonight. If you've enjoyed my video and my rants, please subscribe, give me the thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's all part of the algorithm. It'll get my videos out there and let other people see my message. But this is Dan with We the People Prepping. I wish each and every one of you a good night and safe travels. Bye.